Welcome to the Undrafted, Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Undrafted Uncensored, where we all got a little festive today. We are donning our purple and black because it is a very happy day here in Denver. Starting to get a little more recognition. Surprisingly, Joe even has some sort of Rockies attire.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure.
Well, to be fair, like I said, in this town, it's easy to get Rocky swag because it's given away everywhere because nobody really wants to wear it.
Oh, wait. This is the
Those of you not tuned into the actual TV, Joe's got a very nice, probably 1995's style jacket going on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Behind me.
Yeah, this looks pretty old, you know.
Number 17 batting practice jersey hanging up. Got my Rockies purple and black ball cap. Colin's got the all black with the black trim. A little bit of white highlight around the interlocking CR. But we will definitely talk number 17 here in a little bit. But first, boys, we have championship games set up for Sunday. Sunday. And
Sunday.
Other than one disappointing game, I mean, we were treated to some pretty good football.
I'm assuming the disappointing game you're talking about is the Ravens-Texans game?
Yeah.
Which was actually really good for a half, though. It was 10-10 going into halftime. I know the Texans offense couldn't move the ball, but you had a punt return for a touchdown, something that we hadn't seen since 2017, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I might be misremembering that exact date, but we saw a punt return for a touchdown in that game. It was 10-10. Like I said, the Houston defense was doing a pretty decent job against Lamar. I mean, the floodgates opened after halftime. And speaking of someone who knows about floodgates opening, especially today after those Euros, Lamar Jackson can open them up with the best of them. So,
Nothing to do or crab juice.
So I think they were all pretty, they really were all pretty good. I know the second half of that game wasn't great, but we actually saw some domination from the Ravens, something that
they needed.
We all talked about. Yeah, we had
something I've been talking shit about them not being able to do.
and so I think that for me, seeing that, all these games kind of played out how I expected. I did expect the Ravens to obviously come through and win big in that game. I didn't want them to because I chose the Texans to win the Super Bowl, and that would have been nice. But either way, at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson, it feels like they exercise their demons. And, I know we'll get to it, but in Buffalo, oh, man, it's trouble.
Oh, man. That's
why do they even have kickers? Just go for two, go for on fourth down every single time because they're just going to fuck it up. At least if you go for it, you have a chance.
Well, I was going to say, you don't need a kicker in Buffalo because anytime they kick, all you need to do is be like, oh, wide right.
Yeah. You would think they would know that by now, though, and set the holder up further to the kicker's left so that when it does go wide right, it actually goes through the uprights.
Yeah, that's smart.
Physics. It's physics. I mean, maybe it's the stadium's designed.
Can we get the Buffalo kicker one of those helmets with the blinders on it from Star Wars that Luke Skywalker used in that training scene in the first one? We need some of that shit.
No, I think what we really need is just to make sure the laces are out, Dan.
Laces out,
Laces out, die, Dan. Yeah, that's definitely that guy's fault.
Oh, that poor guy. Their kicker had to turn his.
Who was the holder? Was it the former Broncos punter?
I'm sorry, say that. I talked over you.
Oh, was it Sam Martin, the holder? You
No,
mean
you're fine. You're kind of glitching.
was
Yeah. Was it? I think it was.
yeah, he's the holder on there. But I think he got that ball around. I think it was just a bad kick.
Yeah.
Yep. Rose. Worst possible
Little too-
time.
A little too much. A little too much English. Should have got a little more Spanish.
Much too much.
Much too much.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do all of our Ace Ventura jokes now.
You know, come Sunday was at least Sunday was good football, other than the field goal. I mean, the referees pretty much let the Chiefs and the Bills play.
Yeah.
You know,
And the fact that the game came down to a missed field goal does make it good football, you know?
Yeah. You just, I don't know many of us wish that it was the Bills going on instead of the Chiefs, but the way the Chiefs have played this year, they're going to have an uphill battle against that Baltimore team, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I said it the other day. Baltimore has been playing some of the best football in the NFL for most of the season. I mean, we talked about the games that they lost the other day. They were division games for the most part. They were close games too. They've been. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, hey, hopefully my computer doesn't restart. If it does, I will be back momentarily. I don't know what's going on. It's saying I need to update for some audio stuff, but
Euro too.
the Euro has infected the computer.
Oh my God. It's contagious, folks.
Yeah, I found the real contagion, but it's well, where were we besides the field goal? The Chiefs.
We're in danger.
The Chiefs. It's going to take a lot. The Ravens, really, like I said, they've been the most consistent team throughout the year, even though losing players. They've been a beast. I mean, the way that they beat down some playoff teams in the regular season, and even non-playoff teams. Hello, Jaguars. They really played great. And when we talked about the 49ers and their losing streak, it was, they lost a player here or there, and we even saw their offense, what happened when they lost Deebo Samuel. I think Kyle Shanahan will come in more prepared this weekend with a plan to not have Deebo or as many Deebo packages in the game. But it's kind of weird to see Kyle Shanahan not adjust again in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was given the Packers an opportunity to steal that game.
It's a little worrisome.
It was really starting to turn into a
Packers game. I'm pretty surprised. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised the Packers didn't win it, but it was there for the taking. It really was.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, but it's sadly, I think the Packers were just a little bit outmatched. I think they're going to need another year to really kind of add more weapons to that team and get that playoff experience around them and let Jordan Love start playing that much better. Hopefully they can get through it without having Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon having injury issues all season. But
Aaron Jones,
it's how it goes. It's they're the team that finally got beat by with a 5-point lead against the Packers, or not the Packers, against the Niners, because he's never come back from 5 points or more, like you said. But I don't know. I think that's just credit to the Niners, man. This team is just that much better. And the Packers, while being a good team for sure, and put up a hell of a fight and could have made it, they just, they weren't the best team. It was close, especially without Deebo Samuel. Dude, the Lions now have the best chance that we've ever thought they've had to actually get to the Super Bowl. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it does sound like Deebo's going to play, but
they were saying nothing was broken.
Yeah, nothing's broken. For the Packers, I don't know if you caught it, but Aaron Jones is a free agent this year, and that was a big part of why the Packers made this playoff run. Was Aaron Jones. I mean, he's the first player in 50 years to rush on the 49ers for 100 yards.
Something like that, yeah.
It's like the history of the NFL. No one's done it. But
I feel like they re-sign him next year. I know it's a little bit early for that kind of talk, but
you can't let him
feel
go.
like they at least give it, a hell of a shot because he's just such a big part of that offense. Even because I think AJ Dillon is also going to be out of there too, so they might have to pair him with somebody else. Bring back Jamal Williams or something.
I mean, I agree, but if you look at the free agent market, you wonder if he's going to take the Saquon route or the Eckler route and not want to sign until camp or too late. And if the Packers don't really play that game unless your name is Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, they let guys go. And
that's true.
They don't really stand around for that. So I would hope that Aaron Jones would see what they're doing in Green Bay and really realize how big of a piece he is to this team and that he can fit, because the free agent market, he is not a top tier free agent running back. You have Saquon, there's Derrick Henry that's out there, Josh Jacobs could be out there, Austin Eckler could be out there. I think Eckler is probably more of a name, even though he didn't have as good of a season. Eckler will probably command more money than Aaron Jones will. I don't think he should necessarily, but I think
he 1 year or 2 year.
What?
In New England. Did Zeke sign a 1 year or 2 year in New England?
Zeke, it had to be 1 year. I don't see it being.
So I mean, you have him, potential him out there too. He may not be top of that first tier, but he's still in that conversation.
And they might just let him go anyway.
Yeah. Well, and mentioning Cowboys, they might not hold on to Tony Pollard. I mean, he did not have a good year. I mean, what did he do beyond the really the first game against the Giants when they put up 50 points or whatever? He really had a bad season. Trust me, he was on my fantasy team. I saw it every week.
That's true. We said the same thing about the Lions last year. That there's no way they're going to get rid of Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift because they were so good for him last year. Nope, both got 2 new running backs, and it's been phenomenal. So it's not unprecedented to see a team just be like, you know what, we're just going to get different guys and make it work. And so Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon out, and 2 other people in. So it's definitely possible to see, but it would be weird to not see Aaron Jones also back there kind of anchoring that team, because I think they kind of want, or at least should want, to have some kind of a bell cow workhorse type dude.
I mean, unless they bring in Derrick Henry.
Oh man!
Could you imagine the Yeti in Green Bay at Lambeau just plowing over people?
That's a lot of broken helmets.
That is a lot of broken helmets. Did I tell you? I think I've told you this. So when it snows in Vermont, when it snows in Vermont, Derrick Henry scores a touchdown. Like, it's almost unbeaten.
That's kind of crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's I got it from a fantasy football podcast I listened to. There, I was like, wait, check the snow in Vermont. But yeah, I mean, they could spend, because all of these guys, they are the Packers are the youngest team in the NFL. All their wide receivers were draft picks. I heard something today. They had 9 people catch a pass on Sunday. 8 of those were on their rookie contract.
Yeah.
Damn.
Most of the receivers went to the Jets. Or Las Vegas.
Yeah, Cobb and Lazard, all the old guys, which it's just 2 guys, but that's a big,
but those are big
amount
names,
of receptions for those guys. Yeah, even though they were both kind of getting old, like they were quality, solid, possession receivers.
Even in name, they're still a dangerous threat.
Yeah, so I guess you could also just see them drafting a running back. Although I think they should defense personally and sign a running back for relatively cheap or whatever. But yeah, you could see them just continue to stay young and just only build through the draft, because that's the Packers, which makes me think they're just going to try to re-sign Aaron Jones, because they never really go outside of their own guys too much. So, as awesome as it would be for them to get Derrick Henry or, whatever, I feel like they're more likely to just stick with Aaron Jones and then maybe try to get one of those other guys for cheap as a second guy, or use that was it Williams kid, I want to say, that was the backup. because Dylan was out.
I want to say it's not Jamal. I know it's like
No,
it's, but it is another Jay Williams.
Yeah, it's
like 90%
rookie.
sure. Yeah.
So they might just keep that kid because fuck it, it's cheap and they'll hand the ball to anybody. But yeah, that'll be interesting to watch, man. I'm sorry to kind of go off on that tangent of what are the Packers going to do next offseason at running back.
I mean, you apologize for tangent.
That's a good point. Well, because you guys always want to keep things so focused.
Oh no, Emmanuel Wilson and then Patrick Taylor were there.
Oh, so neither one. So Wilson, not Williams. Okay, so I was like, I wasn't even close, but I guess
I think they did have a Williams last year. But yeah, I think I really feel like the teams this weekend that deserve to win won. No one got screwed. There were some bad calls and bad officiating, which I mean, come to expect it in some cases. But I don't think any games were broken by the officiating.
No,
it was just good football all around, and yeah, man, the Bills are done, aren't they, guys? The Bills have to be done, or are the Bills the early Peyton Manning Broncos where it's Sean McDermott is John Fox?
Yeah,
and they just need to get and they bring in Belichick.
Yeah,
can you imagine the Bills bringing Belichick in that division to dominate the division in Buffalo instead of New England?
That's a very Bill Belichick thing to do too. Is go to Buffalo or the Jets or Miami, and they both have coaches that I don't think are going to get fired. So yeah, that's what I was thinking they really were anyway. They were a coach away. They need to bring in a more of an offensive guy, and then they can get one of those old defensive coordinator dudes or whatever for their defense, because the defense is still very important, especially for a team that plays in the cold in Buffalo. Your defense is badass. Josh Allen doesn't have to be Superman all the fucking time.
Well, that's
one of those. What's up?
So that's the other problem too, though. Is you got to stop Josh Allen. Be Superman.
You got to stop Josh Allen.
I mean, to an extent, yeah, but they have a good running game now with James Cook. They can have anybody be a backup or keep Latavius Murray if he doesn't retire or whatever. Like, they'll be okay there. Their offensive line, they'll probably continue to bolster and have, changes and stuff, whatever. But James Cook has really helped them be able to kind of limit that from Josh Allen, but still use it because it's still one of his best assets. So he still, runs around and scores touchdowns and stuff. But I think, depending on if they keep Sean McDermott, that's a huge, I think, waste of time. And maybe even a mistake because he seems fine, but I don't see, them getting over the hump. He definitely reminds me of like a John Fox for sure. So that they could bring in, even if they ended up only getting Ron Rivera, that would be, still an upgrade for them, even though he's kind of the same style of guy. And then you keep the same offensive coordinator, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, Belichick and McDaniels and that whole, quick slant, fuck with the defense in any way you possibly can, do whatever it takes to win, whether it's running
able to run
the
defense.
Vrabel's taking another head coaching job. There are too many good ones out there this year.
Ooh, Vrabel, though, would be a good one to just kind of Dan Campbell it up in Buffalo and just kind of motivate everybody. Dan Campbell comes in, they bring in Arthur Smith, and they just run the fuck out of the football all day. They signed Derrick Henry, so it's Derrick Henry and James Cook.
Oh, man. And Josh Allen.
Yeah. Like, there's a world where Buffalo, because Stephon Diggs has either regressed, gotten mad, whatever, like their passing game is potentially going to take a step back. So fuck it. Pound the rock. Bring in John Gruden as the offensive coordinator, instead of Vrabel likes Arthur Smith. They worked together in Tennessee before he got hired in Atlanta. So they're probably going to be tied together to an extent. But that's okay. You run the fuck out of the football and you have Mike Vrabel there to make all the actual decisions so you don't end up with 3 really good running backs and never really utilizing any of them like Atlanta did. Because Vrabel won't let that happen. You just have the guy that pounds the rock all the time. Like, that could be totally fun too. Well, I forgot about Vrabel. That's another big good one, I feel like. I feel like Pete Carroll would sort of fit, but, like, I don't know. Pete Carroll in the frigid weather, too, just doesn't fit for me. Just seeing him in, like, the little guy in, like, some giant coat, just, blistering in the cold, that doesn't feel like something he would enjoy.
If it was Belichick with Vrabel as his DC, you know that Belichick is only there to get the coaching win record, and then it's handed over to Vrabel. Like, that's what that would have to be for Vrabel.
I don't think that would happen, though.
But you mentioned Stephon Diggs. You know what? Speaking of somebody that I don't want to hear anything from this whole offseason after last offseason, Stephon Diggs. Homie, you dropped that ball. Like, you had a chance to put your team on your back, Donald Driver-esque, and you didn't. And you let him down. You did not carry anything, and then you stood there and watched again as the Kansas City Chiefs celebrated victory on your home field. You know what, dude? You need to shut the hell up. You need to get your ass to training camp, and you need to get whatever fixed if you're going to be in Buffalo. Or Buffalo, you need to get him the hell out of Dodge. Because
I think he's gone.
If he's going to keep bitching or his brother's going to keep bitching, I know the game that his brother talked about, him not getting any catches or barely any passes thrown his way. He didn't. He deserved to get targeted more. But you don't deserve a quarterback like Josh Allen when you do stuff like that. And, I mean, I think he's a very important piece to that offense. But I think that they can also we're going to dive into free agents, I know, this offseason. I know the running back free agents. I don't know the wide receiver free agents nearly, or I don't know them at all. I know the running backs, and so but Buffalo, I'd be hard pressed to see if Stephon Diggs is back, especially after the turmoil caused last offseason. And in all honesty, he was one of the reasons why they lost that game. I mean, I know we started the show off saying wide right, or I started off saying wide right, but that's a culmination of things that just ended up on Tyler Bass's foot. I mean, you come out of a timeout and get a delay of a game. I mean, they were pulling some real Broncos shit in this game. The Bills were.
Yeah, they were.
Josh Allen scrambling around and finding Khalil Shakur for a touchdown that was pretty miraculous. I mean, that was, like I said, it felt like very Broncos-like in that game.
All right, so apparently T. Higgins is going to be a free agent.
That's right.
That could be huge. Michael Pittman Jr. That feels too soon. They must have not picked up.
They'll probably tag him,
or maybe he was a second rounder. Yeah, I feel like that's Mike Evans, Hollywood Brown, Calvin Ridley, Darnell Mooney, Gabe Davis from them, Odell Beckham. Yeah, so there's definitely some quality guys to build a receiver room, and maybe have some guys extend their careers a little bit, like in Mike Evans.
I think Evans. Oh man, that's Mike Evans.
And maybe they just re-signed Gabe Davis for cheap because he got hurt. Yeah. So they might be able to retain him. Who knows? But yeah, you might see a totally different receiving core from Buffalo next year.
Mike Evans, I feel like you'd be really happy not to play the New Orleans Saints anymore, or not twice a year.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the effectiveness of Stephon Diggs has kind of ran its course in Buffalo. And I don't know if he's actually upset or if his brother was just upset for him or if he was just trying not to let those feelings be in public, but he is upset. I don't know. But I don't know if he's going to be there next year. I feel like the way his play kind of deteriorated too, they might want to move on from him regardless, and just try to get what they can for him and move on, maybe draft a guy in the first round, whatever their pick ends up being, maybe there's some good receivers. I don't know. I just work here.
Man, I think, if they brought in T. Higgins later,
see you later,
T. Higgins. That would be the one because he's young enough and he's got enough years. He could be tied with Josh Allen for a long time. Most likely. He's had some injuries. But even if they brought in T. Higgins and either Calvin Ridley or Marquise Brown or both, and not re-sign Gabe Davis, who's been an interesting guy, their wide receivers would be stocked back up again. I thought Gabe Davis was going to have a better year, and he really did not. So they might just be over the whole Gabe Davis thing. And you're right. They could just select a wide receiver. We've seen rookie wide receivers go off early. So
in the draft too, look at Zay Flowers with Baltimore. He's now the number one guy there with Mark Andrews out. He's the number one receiving option, really. And, he's not the most consistent. He's a rookie for sure. But, still you see it all the time.
Yeah, look at Jerry Jeudy. Oh, wait, never mind.
I'm going to look at him walk out the door.
More like, look at Justin Jefferson as a second-round pick, But that was in that draft with Jerry Jeudy where that was supposed to be, the best receiver draft. And we got the guy who was, fucking scouted the best by all of the scouts of Scouthood. They're like, hey, Scouts honor Jerry Jeudy looks
in their defense,
good.
he does run really good routes. He just can't catch the ball.
I was going to say he was the best route runner.
Yeah, he runs the best routes, and he really does. Yeah. But there's that whole catching of the football or getting open or staying open.
Yeah.
Or being tall enough that your 5'9" quarterback can see you.
I don't have to worry about a 5'9" quarterback anymore.
Yeah, that's speaking of free agents,
Oh Lordy.
Is that your computer there?
Well, good thing is we've got another day to go or another show to go before we can make our predictions. So that being said, let's move on to I don't know if it's really a stellar performance because it was against the San Antonio Spurs. But I'll give Joel Embiid credit. He put 70 points up by himself. So I'll give credit where credit's due because these are still professional basketball players.
He's ridiculous this year, dude. Like I am more the season that Joel Embiid is having this year is like ridiculous, which makes me even more angry that they just kind of gifted him the MVP last year when Jokic had a better season. Because this year Embiid actually deserves an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And but I don't care anymore. Fuck him. But yeah, he's going off. That shit's ridiculous. Putting up 70, and they're saying franchise record, not even Wilt could do it. When Wilt played for the Philadelphia 76ers, it was a very different thing than when he played for the Philadelphia Warriors in his youth when he was putting up 100 points because those are different franchises. He played for the Sixers later in his career when he was a much older player. So, yeah, of course he wasn't putting up 70 at that point. So that whole storyline of even Wilt couldn't do that. I saw it on ESPN, and I'm like, well, that's kind of bullshit. That's like saying, look at these records that this Heat center put up that not even Shaq could, do. Well, yeah, he was old on the Heat. He was still good, but he was even older and worse on Boston. Whatever. Pick any player that, finished their career somewhere else and be like, yeah, well, they couldn't even do that on that team. Well, no shit.
They finished his career clean.
Yeah, exactly. But, he's still an amazing player this year, and they're going to be a ridiculously good team. If the Nuggets can make it back to the championship, which I think they can, especially depending on what kind of moves they make at the trade deadline, playing Philly would be a phenomenal matchup.
But how much longer can he keep this up?
More players. What's up?
How much longer can he keep this up, though? He's
they're going to rest him.
Pace right now. I'll give him credit.
Yeah.
But at some point, the real Embiid's going to start showing up again.
Oh, yeah, they're going to rest him towards the end of the season probably, once he's really into, quality shape, and he'll take some time off before the playoffs, and then he'll probably become ineligible for the MVP because he missed too many games, which would be funny because he'll be the real MVP unless Jokic starts going off for a bunch of more things, which is not outside the realm possibility at all. But Jokic is going to have to do some like next level crazy shit in the last couple of years, which every year he plays better. So like I said, that's totally still possible. But yeah, the MVP is going to be weird this year because of the game requirement. That might be a little bit too many games because of the level of star players, but I like the idea. I like the position the NBA's taken. Like, fuck you, play the games. Like, stop missing so many games. It's not going to affect injuries as much as people think, and it'll hopefully help kind of galvanize players for the playoffs. But we'll see. Maybe it will equal more injuries, and they'll lower the game requirement for these kind of awards. Or players will just start saying, I don't care, and the awards will kind of just become more and more meaningless.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's gonna happen if Embiid doesn't win it is there's gonna be an uproar. People are gonna say there should be an asterisk on this MVP as the first year, and then it'll change back to what it was.
And then people will say, well, there should be an asterisk on last year's MVP because everyone was just mad about the whole debate, and Jokic really had a better season, and then you start looking at every MVP, and
it's gonna become a whole stupid thing because you're right, Embiid is. It looks like he's bound to miss enough or too many games this year. So I don't know how there's a way to get around that, but that's going to be the talk show debate about who's really the MVP. And then the postseason hits, and that's going to be the whole talking point. The real MVP of the season, I think, was Joel Embiid, but he didn't play enough games. So next year it either gets lowered again to the amount of games you need to play, or they get rid of that whole thing, which sucks for a guy like Jamal Murray, because Jamal Murray might not hit the number of games played to get one of those first, second team or honorable mentions. And if he doesn't get that, the Nuggets can't sign him to one of those supermax deals that can kind of elude the salary cap a little bit.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's got a decent argument for most improved because of comeback from injuries and stuff, because he didn't get comeback player of the year last year, I don't think.
No.
Who did? Or they do a comeback player of the year in the NBA, don't they? Or is that only NFL?
No, that's in the NBA too, I thought.
I thought so too, but I think he'll totally get most improved because he'll be able to be doing it more consistently throughout the entire regular season, where last year he was kind of, playing himself back into shape and making sure that he was okay and kind of slowly getting back up to it. And then he was? Okay.
You got the SB.
Oh, okay, cool.
You got the SB for it, excuse me.
Okay.
The NBA does not I don't think the NBA does a comeback player of the year.
Okay, but they have a most improved. So he has a good chance for that because he's not going to get MVP. He's not going to get Defensive Player of the Year, and he's not going to get Rookie of the Year, obviously. He's not going to get Sixth Man because he's starting. So, yeah, that's your best hope is most improved. Or I guess you could go most clutch because they have Clutch Player of the Year now. That is a thing. De'Aaron Fox won that last year for the first time. It was the first year ever they did it last year.
Yeah, it looks like there was only from 80 to 86 did they do comeback player of the year in the NBA.
Okay, word. Well,
but the ESPYs gave it to him.
Well, they should, yeah, but
ESPYs are better anyway.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Nugget players, I know we saw the whole rumor the Nuggets are interested in trades with Toronto, but there's no way to do it.
I know. Like I said,
unless you trade a starter, sadly. The rumors are the Nuggets are interested in trying to bring back Bruce Brown somehow, which of course they are. I was saying that at the beginning of the season that if look for them to potentially try to get somebody with that they could some sort of package they could move. But like all their bench guys make like $5 million. So what are they going to trade? 4 guys for Bruce Brown and then 4 even worse bench warmers and like whatever few picks they have. Like I don't see it happening unless they trade KCP or like Aaron Gordon or Porter. And I love Bruce Brown, but I don't want to trade a starter for Bruce Brown. So getting to $22 million means, Zeke Naji makes like 4 or 5.
Well, I told you guys in the last show, or maybe it was 2 shows ago, I went into the trade tracker and tried to find a way to make it happen. And the Nuggets can't. There's no way because Toronto is also over. It puts Toronto over the cap. The only reason they could get Bruce Brown in that deal was part of, I want to say it was a trade exception that they used for it. So anything that equals that, it puts the Raptors back over the cap. So it would take a 3-team and a lot of players. But like I said, but that was also more so not just this season. It's the off season that they might be looking at it too. The article that I sent you guys.
For sure. Yeah, that definitely look forward to. If he gets, traded again or moved or, I don't think he would get bought out and released because he's too good of a player. Whatever team that trades for him will want him. There's talk the Lakers want him. They've got some more expensive players. But they'd have to trade a starter too. Are they going to trade D'Angelo Russell for Bruce Brown? I would personally, just out of bias, but they probably actually shouldn't and won't.
It was Joey Lynn of SI.com. So it's something to keep. He wraps up the article by saying, Bruce Brown knows how they feel, speaking of the Nuggets. From what I've been told, that's something to keep an eye on, even down the road. So like I said, it's probably not going to be. It's hard to see a pathway this year with Denver's current collection of assets. There's no way for them to acquire Brown, but they're interested if it presents itself. So like I said, it's more of a after this season type of thing. They really can't do it this year. If you go to the trade. The trade analyzer, it'd probably take like 4 teams to make it happen with a bunch of different exceptions. And those deals are very difficult to put together. We've seen them get nixed also when we saw the Chris Paul trade get nixed LA.
Speaking of nixed, that's the other team that I've heard rumored really wants Bruce Brown is the Knicks.
Okay.
Really?
Bruce Brown was even asked about it in a press conference because nobody cares anymore. And a reporter straight up asked Bruce Brown how he'd feel about playing for the Knicks, and he goes, "I can do everything that Tom Thibodeau wants." So that's a distinct
cowboy, baby.
I don't know who they have. Evan Fournier. Yeah, they could just trade Evan Fournier straight up and some picks or whatever and get Bruce Brown. So that's one to look out for is Bruce Brown to the Knicks. And that makes the Knicks a really fun team to watch all of a sudden with Jalen Brunson and Bruce Brown and OG Anunoby and everyone's favorite Julius Randle.
Well, don't forget Mr. DiVincenzo.
Oh yeah, but 6th man of the year, Dante DiVincenzo.
And Josh Hart. You gotta have heart.
I love Josh Hart. Josh Hart's one of my favorite players. I hope, I wish somehow the Nuggets could have signed Josh Hart in free agency, but he re-signed with the Knicks, and that was smart for him to do because he does so well for them. But having Josh Hart and Bruce Brown, dude.
Mm-hmm. And my precious.
Oh, precious.
Precious.
Before we forget, we're getting a little down the rabbit hole here. Karl Anthony Towns also put 61 up yesterday.
That's true. He had a big cat.
It was Buckets Day on Monday.
Made his
new holiday. I remember
8
January
consecutive
22nd.
threes. I think his first 8 threes were what he made.
Oh
Did he
yeah,
make his
and
first
then
eight?
he
I
went
didn't
like
know.
2
I
for
didn't know.
12 in the fourth quarter, and they lost.
What was that,
It
Joe?
was funny. I saw Chris Finch, the coach, in the interview. He was all pissed off, and he's like, "It was immature basketball. No defense. As soon as they saw what Cat was doing, they just stopped, making the right plays. And because he went, like I said, like 2 for 12 or 2 for something like that. And they lost in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
in a game where he broke the Timberwolves scoring record, which was his own record. Yep.
Speaking of a team that should fire their coach, I mean the Bucks fire their coach. When I know the Wolves are they're the top team in the NBA right now, but man, I don't know if Tibbs can get him to go. I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
He's got that George Karl vibe all over him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Chris Finch. Yeah, I don't know. I could see that. I thought he was pretty decent, but I don't know too much about NBA coaches. So I really couldn't tell you one way or the other.
And again, we're back to the John Fox kind of coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but he's also gotten them to really tighten it up and figure it out after a year of what the fuck are we going to do with Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns. Now all of a sudden they're playing like really well. I don't know if that's more due to the players just figuring it out or the coach, but it happened. So you got to at least, consider that. But yeah, it could totally just be, a John Fox thing where it's the players more so than the coaches. I mean look at Adam Gase. Everyone thought he was a fucking genius. And
it's like, how do you have a guy go off for 70 points and you lose that game? And you don't, and you can't get your guys to do anything else besides just sit there and watch. And I know when someone's on fire like that, it is fun to sit there and watch. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah.
But you got to know for that guy, that's one of those that where you talk about, record-setting games. Oh yeah, but they lost the game.
Oh, by the way, they didn't win.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he scored 71 in a loss.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
It's always going to be one of those stats.
Yeah, LeBron breaking the scoring record against Oklahoma City Thunder. They lost that game, and the Thunder were not as good last year as they are this year.
Yeah, but anytime LeBron can do something that's stupid, it just makes you feel a little bit better about yourself.
Exactly. They stopped the game, and Kareem came down on the court, and gave him some sort of trophy thing, and and then they were down at the time, and they proceeded to not come back, and then they traded everyone. But that's just always going to be a really fun piece of trivia. Like LeBron lost that game, right? Like they barely made the playoffs that year, and then they still.
LeBron might break his next number mark, 40,000, right? Against the Nuggets.
Oh, really?
Well, let's stop him from doing that.
It's a possibility that it comes down to him playing in the Nuggets for that one.
That sounds bad. I don't want to do that. I mean, it'd be cool to be there for it, I guess, because it is historic. But no, fuck it.
Speaking of
don't let it happen. Just put Gordon on in the entire game, and he'll just smother him. And he won't win every matchup, of course, because it's LeBron James. Even old LeBron, he'll get you. But just make him really work for it.
Speaking of really
turn up
cool
the heat like Boston did. Sorry, what?
I said, speaking of really cool to be there. How about Cooperstown, New York in July, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful little town right there on the lake. I mean, you got the Baseball Hall of Fame right there on Main Street. Some great eateries, some amazing delis, fantastic restaurants. And
those are all the same thing.
The second Colorado Rockies player being inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum.
The first true Rocky, though.
Yes, not to take away from Larry Walker.
No,
he was a shining example of the Colorado Rockies, but cover to cover, Todd Helton is right now the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, for sure. Who did Larry Walker play for before the Rockies existed?
The Expos.
Oh, word. That's kind of fun.
Montreal.
Because that's not a team anymore, is it?
No, they're the
the Nationals.
That's awesome. So he played for a team that doesn't exist and came to a team in its first few years. That's kind of cool.
And then he went to the Cardinals and won a World Series.
Well, yeah,
they didn't win a World Series.
He wasn't part of that World Series team.
They lost that year.
Okay, because I know Matt Holliday got one with them, right?
No, I don't think he did either.
All were excited because it was we had the Ray Bork half Bruin, half Avalanche jerseys. We were like, oh hell yeah! If they win, we'll get Larry Walker, half Cardinal, half Rockies. Back when we didn't, hate those guys, fuckers. Took Larry Walker, Ray Nolan. Anyway, Todd Helton, he's really cool.
That's right. I forgot that was Boston's first World Series.
Yep, that's right.
Walker and the Cardinals, yeah. But yeah, the first true Rocky, and not that, like I said, I don't want to take anything away from from Larry Walker, but Todd Helton has always been
Yeah.
Mr. Rocky. I mean, you see
Full time.
You see the pictures. The picture of his Hall of Fame induction is him throwing his hat at first base. You know, the hat throw or after the home run, where his hair is flying. It's
yeah.
You know, you have the iconic that after he caught the ball at
Eric
first.
Burns is out.
Yes. Larry Walker. Todd Helton is just, he's been Colorado the whole time. And so I'm so happy that he got in. And man, I was actually talking to Michael earlier. He was sending me a message about going to Cooperstown for the induction. I don't know if I'm into these ceremonies. I don't.
It's one of those things where I want to do it just once. I missed going to see Pudge. I missed going to see Jeter. I missed going to see Walker. Mostly because Jeter and Walker the same year, and that was a COVID thing.
You want to go, Colin. Trust me. Like with all of the
things you have to experience.
Yeah, like with how many trips you've taken to go see the Rockies specifically in other stadiums, to not miss, like, this is a little bit sad, but like, who else is going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame from the Rockies?
No one soon.
Fucking nobody. You know, if Nolan does, it won't be necessarily as a Rocky. They'll talk about his time with the Rockies, but you know, he's probably going to spend most of his, if not the rest of his career with the Cardinals. But we'll see. It's Major League Baseball, so he can move around a million times. But don't miss this opportunity for your team that you love to have their, like you said, their, you know, truest player, the guy that played for them forever, you know, for his entire career, the first full-time Rocky, and like I said, probably only guy that's going to go for a long time into the Hall of Fame. Like, dude, get your tickets, you know, whenever you can find one of those fucking deals.
Get your popcorn ready.
Because you're super good at finding those, you know, flight deals and shit.
No doubt about it.
You know, I wouldn't miss that for my favorite player or like, you know, something along those lines. I want to go see what, you know, some Bronco going into the Hall of Fame at some point. That would be super cool. I don't know necessarily who, but you know, yeah, you got to do that at some point in your life.
I mean, I think I definitely like need to go to Cooperstown, but some of those ceremonies are, I don't know. Sometimes the ceremonies, I totally understand and I agree with what you're saying. It's just some of the ceremonies are just, I don't. They're a little much for me, I guess. In some aspects,
I mean, this is like the highest honor you can have, though. Too, you're the best of the best, and so it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be emotional. It's gonna be difficult. You know, look at when this is, I mean, about the only thing we can compare it to right now. Look at how different life was after you left high school.
Yeah.
You know?
Like wear your wear your 104 through the fan shirt and see if you can like get into places you're not supposed to be in just because you have like a sports radio shirt or something. Because also probably there's going to be people from the station there, I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
Because you know baseball is not the biggest part of the fans thing, but like dudes getting in the Hall of Fame, they might as well.
It's a piece of Colorado history.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, man. I say, especially because you're the, you know, the traveling Rockies fan, you got to travel to Cooperstown and, you know, deal with one of those ceremonies just for the Todd Helton part. You know, that sounds totally worth it.
Maybe I need to write up a proposal to get sent out there.
Yes, absolutely. Learn how to like go talk to engineering and figure out how to run those remote board things.
Oh,
and be like,
I could figure it out.
Huh?
I could figure it out. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Send me with it. Let's go.
Be like, hey man, you know, here's fucking $50. Show me how to run this thing. Should be fun, you know.
No,
it's definitely one of those things I think you should experience, Colin. And even if you
it would be. I think it's just that I had the whole trip planned to watch the Rockies play the Yankees.
That's even better.
Yeah, that's not the July. That's not the Cooperstown trip. So that's kind of what I had already planned to go out. But going out again is it's definitely on my radar more so.
Okay, that's
do
better.
Both. Yeah, just do both. But also like they're gonna play the Yankees again. Todd Helton's not going in the Hall of Fame again. So like you can see the Yankees another time. Or
Yeah,
just
but
like
can you see the Yankees
honestly,
with Juan Soto and Aaron Judge at the same time?
maybe next year.
Right.
But I would still just
Hope that's assuming they're
both.
both healthy.
like the little girl in the commercial.
It will
Why
be.
not?
Stanton, it won't be.
It's early in the season. They probably will both be.
Yeah, but Stanton won't.
Oh yeah, no, of course not.
And DJ will be playing third. You reminisce about the days where he played second base in Colorado.
Yeah. Do you have a LeMahieu like
DJ jersey?
kind of any kind of memorabilia for DJ?
I probably have some giveaway shirt that has LeMahieu on the back.
There you go.
I was gonna say to backtrack. Holiday did win the World Series with the Cards.
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah. Just
it was
I knew there was a former Rocky that won it with them. Won a series with the Cards. I just mixed up Holiday and Walker.
I mixed up my years with the Cardinals. I thought there was one more in there that they didn't win before they won in 11. It's hard to keep track sometimes.
Yeah, when they're not your team, it is.
Well, so real quick, I didn't mention this, and I didn't get to talk to you guys about this. So I went to the Golden Knights game when I was out in training last week, right?
Oh yeah.
They have commemorative pucks for your game.
Oh, cool.
So the one I got, I think I took it to work. It's a gold puck though, and it has the two opponents and the date on it. Or you can just get a regular black one, same thing. You can get both opponents and the date on it.
That's dope.
Fucking A.
Because they don't have anything that says T-Mobile Arena on it. Everything there is Vegas Golden Knights, and I'm like, I am not buying a single one of these things. A, I would feel dirty.
Yeah.
And two, my family would kill me.
Yeah, no, you don't buy that's why you get the thing for the game, with Avs on it or whatever. It's too bad they're not like the Ball Arena where you can just get a cup. That's like, look, I got the souvenir from the thing.
I was gonna ask if you got your commemorative cup though.
Yeah.
Did you talk your way?
I only got the hockey puck.
Because if the cup says Golden Knights on it, that can be usable. You pour bacon grease in it. You use it to store your, dirty sink utensils on your sink.
Well, they had the commemorative cup for the officer appreciation that they were giving away.
Oh yeah, that one. Did you get that one?
Oh no, I gotta call their salespeople for that. I forgot about that. Yeah. No, I went up and I asked the lady. I was like, "So if you have any extras, can I buy one off of you?" And she's like, "No, we can't do that, but I can get you in touch with our salespeople, and they might be able to if there's extras."
You need to do that yesterday.
Yeah.
I emailed them.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. If that's what they gave you as an email, then that's the way to go. But that's cool though. Hell yeah! So you got yourself a little cup, a little puck.
Yeah, I got myself a little puck.
How was the arena?
It wasn't too bad. It's the walkways are a lot like Allegiant Stadium, where basically you have to go up to get anywhere around. They do have some walkways around the bottom part to get you to the lower seats, but for the most part, most everybody sits a little bit higher. I sat on the opposite end of where the Golden Knights shoot, so I was in the 100 section.
Okay.
So along the glass, that's all single digits, so 1 through 15 or whatever. And then where I was where they have that stupid the little crank horn thing and the thing and everything like that. And so that's the 100 section. And then next to you is the 200 section, which is basically all the suites. And then above that's the 300. Decent sized venue. It was pretty easy to get around. Most of the food was all pretty much, stadium fare. So nothing too impressive. I ended up going to Shake Shack just because by the time I got done wandering around, I didn't really care anymore.
Yeah, Shake Shack's decent. They're, a little bit overpriced, but it's a quality burger.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
They used to have
a the cheese sauce with fries, so I felt better.
There you go. But I also used to go to the one in Cherry Creek, and the people in Cherry Creek always make shit fancier. So I make such damn good coffee.
Far from too brown for that area.
Well, Nick,
we have to walk there. It sucks. Sorry.
I was gonna say, well, Nick, when you get an answer from that email, you know what that'll be considered?
Victory.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 red tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, it's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Or sorry, least. Featuring Nick Archuleta, wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin, just kind of winging it.
And that is what we do. I set it up. Nick hits it out of the park. Just like 2 of us did in our picks this week, going 3-1. And one of us went 500 at 2-2. Who was it? Who are the 3-1s? And
Not me.
The 2-2.
Well,
Nick,
then by process of elimination,
Nick already knows. Well, let's to recap our picks from last week. Nick and I both picked the Ravens over the Texans. These odds all suck, so there wasn't a lot of money, making 12-27 with that. Joe and I both picked the 49ers over the Packers. Nick almost got away with one there. But those odds sucked even more, so we only won $12.06. So that's $2 on our $10 bet profit. We all picked the Lions, which once again that still surprised me, which made $13.51.
what do you mean? Against the Buccaneers? No.
Joe was the only one who picked the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The only one who had an underdog win this week,
Okay,
which
so
netted
real quick,
him $22 on that win, meaning
you guys
that
want to hear about some pain?
the big winner of the week.
Yeah. Go ahead, do the big win of the week. But like, I had a bet on those games last week, and like, dude, it was, oh man. But yeah, go ahead.
Big winner of the week is you, Joe. 37.57 in profit. I came in second at just about $10 less, $27.84. Nick, you stayed in the blue with those very minimal wins at winning $5.78, meaning that the number 1 spot has been once again taken over by myself. I'm at $122.95. Nick slips into second at $117.21. And with that $37, Joe is safe for another weekend because he's at 51.45, and there's no way I'm picking more than 5 games this weekend.
Joe is still last.
So he's still not in the red, which is good. Good to be in the black right here. You were close. You were very, very close.
Yeah, I got there. But all right. So I had so speaking of like picking the Chiefs, I had a 6-leg parlay that I just put up $20 of that money that we all won off of the DraftKings stuff. Hashtag not a sponsor. I took the Chiefs plus 2.5, which was like, dude, that's awesome. I got the Lions minus 5.5. That one hit. I took Jared Goff over 1.5 touchdowns. I took Rashad White to get a touchdown. I took Amon-Ra St. Brown to get a touchdown.
That happened at the end of the game.
I took Baker fucking Mayfield to not throw an interception.
Why did you pick him
Why
not?
would you do that?
Because he hadn't thrown an interception in weeks, and he was actually playing very efficiently.
Jordan Love hadn't thrown an interception in weeks.
Yeah, no, same with Baker Mayfield. I looked at it. I looked it up.
They ran the ball again. They didn't throw the ball in like 2 of those games.
I believe that. I was just looking at it, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe because my first thought was to take him to throw an interception. And then I was like, well, I haven't looked at any stats for any of these picks. I should probably do some sort of research, right? And I'm like, oh, he hasn't done a pick in a while. Maybe taking him to not throw a pick is the way to go. And I'm like, oh, the money's better. That seems like a good idea. So yeah, $20 to win 840. I lost it in the first fucking quarter of the first game, and then proceeded to watch every single other leg hit.
That's always the worst.
Fucking clockwork. Oh, that
That's
drove
okay.
me
Here,
nuts.
that was mine.
But,
I have one too.
it's how it goes. It was a free bet, so I was like, we'll make one of these more risky because the other ones all seem pretty legit. The -5.5 was a little worrisome because it could have been close, but I was like, nah, I don't think this is gonna be that close. And yeah, turns out, fucking wasn't. This is, but yeah,
it was always the worst when your first leg loses and then everything else hits. It really is.
Oh, it was just.
That
was pain.
I mean, my Jordan Love no interception didn't come through, but Romeo Doubs did.
There you go.
Woo! Last drive of the game, baby. I was there with you,
baby.
I had Packers to cover the 9.5. Nice. Aaron Jones 80 or more rushing yards. Jordan Love over 250 passing.
You missed that, right?
And yep, that was the one I missed.
Yeah, Jordan Love didn't get 250. He got like 220 or
25 or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have more picks this weekend. I'll have another one to hammer, I'm sure, that I'll tell everyone to.
Yeah, maybe
I told you hit the Romeo Doubs one last weekend.
Hit it. I
mean, I was pretty adamant about Jordan Love, but not as much as I was about Romeo Doubs. It almost came back to bite me in the ass, but
we'll see if Colin has another premonition for next week or not. They don't happen every week, folks. Don't fucking expect it.
But when they do, you fucking listen, all right?
Yeah, when they do, they prefer
just go with it. It doesn't it sounds stupid. I mean, San Diego State, y'all didn't believe me.
No, I did. I threw the money down.
Well, you did after I said it, but y'all were looking at me like I was batshit crazy.
I was like, sure. I didn't know anything about college basketball. I was like, sure, fuck it. That sounds great. San Diego State? Hell yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, to beat the number one? Why not?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else is going to do it? This year, though, CU might be a sneaky good with Jalen Williams' brother, Cody Williams. Like, dude.
CU women's basketball, number 1 in the nation.
Oh, yeah, CU women, that's not an underdog pick. That's just a really good pick. They're fucking good. So, all of a sudden, CU's got some good sports programs all of a sudden. Why'd you stop? Okay.
Colin's going digital. So for Colin Zanker and Joe Goodwin, I'm Nick Archuleta. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This has been the Undrafted Uncensored, where we are promoting the CU women's basketball team at number 1. Colin's got the music going, so it's for us to go nighty-night. We love you all. Congratulations, Todd Helton and Colorado Rock.
Yeah.
And Todd, we trust.
Todd Father.
The Todd Father. Kneel before Todd.